Waters are fast-moving.
Unlike other big rallies,
Bit earlier at about 7 a.m., a group from the Coast Guard.
Welcome to #PHVote 2013 Rappler.
Today on Rappler, nearly 600 people are injured by firecrackers in the Philippines during New Year's celebrations. Explosions hit Basilan and Cotabato on New Year's Eve. And thousands march in Hong Kong to demand full democracy. Hello, I'm Maria Ressa. Welcome to Rappler, your social news network. It is the first day of 2014. But injuries from fireworks during the New Year celebrations in the Philippines reached 599 as of 6 a.m. Wednesday. The Department of Health, or DOH, says the number is 43% higher compared to the same period last year, but adds the cases are milder. DOH Assistant Secretary Eric Tayag says the numbers expected to increase leading to January 5 as the department gets more reports and as Filipinos continue to light fireworks despite strong warnings at the department's information campaign. Tayag says the department will know by Thursday whether or not 2014 will surpass the 5-year average of more than 900 injuries. The DOH earlier said it expected 50 to 80 injuries per hour nationwide. Officials say banned firecrackers like Piccolo, 5-Star, and the Plapla are the leading causes of the injuries. Among the victims of early celebrations on Tuesday include an 8-year-old boy in Cebu City who lost his right hand because of a firecracker, and a 40-year-old woman in Manila with an accidental gun wound. The Philippine National Police says there are 22 victims of stray bullets in 2014 so far, with one killed, a 3-month-old baby in Ilocos Sur. In 2013, 2 died after getting hit by stray bullets during the New Year celebrations, triggering public calls for stricter gun controls. A bomb explodes at a New Year party in the province of Basilan, killing 6 and injuring 6 others less than 2 hours before midnight on Tuesday. According to initial military reports, a bomb exploded at about 10:22 p.m. at the home of Manuel Casineros in Barangay Tumahubong in the town of Sumisip. Police say the motive of the attack isn't clear, although Casineros was apparently helping authorities protect rubber plantation workers from extortion by armed gangs, including the Abu Sayyaf, which has historical links to Al-Qaeda. Also on Tuesday, 5 people, including a 6-year-old boy, are injured after a grenade goes off in Cotabato. Police say 3 unidentified suspects threw a hand grenade at a church in Barangay Ungalingan in the town of Carmen around 8:20 p.m. Davao City is set to grab a world record for gathering the most number of party horn blowers, the turotot, to celebrate the new year. At least 7,568 residents gathered to blow party horns as the clock struck 12 in the city, where firecrackers have been banned for more than a decade. Davao City is vying to set a new Guinness World Record. Japan currently holds the record with 6,961 party horn blowers. Dubai attempts to smash the fireworks world record as it welcomes 2014 with a bang. The city sets off more than 400,000 fireworks in a bid to break the Guinness World Record for the largest ever display. People crowd in the streets as the world's tallest tower, the Burj Khalifa, lights up. In 2012, Kuwait set the record with an hour-long blast of 77,282 fireworks. Around the world, New Year revelers gathered to ring in 2014. Sydney had the first of the world's major pyrotechnic shows, with 7 tons of explosives lighting up Australia's biggest fireworks display, biggest city. In Hong Kong, the city's skyscrapers are lit up by an 8-minute pyrotechnic show. Celebrations are quieter in Japan, with small fireworks displays held across the country. But millions of people gather at local temples and shrines to greet the new year. Some 300,000 people welcome 2014 at the Champs-Élysées in Paris, while about 1 million people gather in New York to mark the stroke of midnight and the traditional New Year's Eve ball drop in Times Square. U.S. President Barack Obama's landmark healthcare reforms take effect Wednesday, granting coverage to millions of previously uninsured Americans. Since the Affordable Care Act, or Obamacare, was passed in 2010, the law survived multiple repeal attempts by Republican lawmakers, a U.S. Supreme Court hearing, and a disastrous rollout of the law's website. Under the Affordable Care Act, U.S. residents are required to enroll in a health care plan. It will now be illegal for insurers to deny coverage because of pre-existing conditions or to limit the level of annual reimbursements for essential services. Syria misses the deadline to remove its chemical weapons arsenal for destruction, but international inspectors say the mission remains on track. Syria was scheduled to turn over its stockpile to several ships for delivery to a U.S. boat which will destroy the materials at sea. But on Saturday, the international mission in Syria said it was unlikely the weapons could be transported in time for the December 31 deadline. On Tuesday, the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons, or OPCW, says the plan to destroy Syria's chemical arsenal by mid-2014 is still on track. OPCW spokesman Christian Chartier says Syria's chemical arsenal has been completely neutralized. The chemical agents and chemical products are under international control. Their capacity to produce and use chemical weapons has been reduced to zero. Thousands march in Hong Kong Wednesday to demand a greater say in how their future leaders will be chosen. Organizers say they aim to tell China's ruling Communist Party, quote, that Hong Kong people need and want a real democracy. The rally features posters of Chief Executive Leung Chun-ying with an egg on his head. Leung suffers from particularly low popularity ratings. Hong Kong residents enjoy rights and freedoms unknown on the mainland, despite China's resumption of sovereignty in 1997. Hong Kong has its own government and legal system under a semi-autonomous state. Beijing promised that its people will be able to vote for their next chief executive in 2017. Under the current system, the city's leader is elected by a 1,200-strong pro-Beijing committee. Let's now look at Rappler's Wrap for today, a list of the 10 most important events around the world you shouldn't miss. At number 3, Egypt accuses 3 Al Jazeera journalists it detained for belonging to a terrorist group, saying they had ties with the blacklisted Muslim Brotherhood. This comes 6 months into a crackdown by the military-installed government on the movement of ousted President Mohamed Morsi. Al Jazeera demands the release of the journalists. At number 6, U.S. tech giant Apple says it has no backdoor in its products after a security researcher and a leaked document suggested the U.S. National Security Agency, or NSA, had access to the iPhone. In a statement, Apple says it never worked with the NSA to allow backdoor entry to its products. Speaking in a security conference in Germany, researcher Jacob Appelbaum says a program called Dropout Jeep allowed the NSA to intercept SMS messages, access contact lists, locate a phone using cell tower data, access voicemail, or activate an iPhone's microphone and camera. But a security expert says this doesn't mean the NSA has complete control of a user's iPhone. And at number 7, over 200,000 people send in their applications to nonprofit organization Mars One, hoping to be one of the first to colonize the red planet. 1,058 applicants are shortlisted to move on to the next selection round. Mars One hopes to turn the colonization of Mars into a reality show with a global audience. Over the next 2 years, the applicants will go through a series of physical and emotional tests to see if they can adapt to life on Mars. For the full top 10, visit Rappler.com's The Wrap. The manager of Michael Schumacher says the Formula One driver was not skiing at high speed when he suffered an accident. On Sunday, Schumacher suffered a head injury after he fell and hit his head while skiing on unmarked slopes in France. Doctors say he's now in stable condition. His manager, Sabine Kem, denies media reports that Schumacher was skiing at high speed at the time, with some saying he could have been going as fast as 60 to 100 kilometers an hour. Kem says Schumacher hit a rock as he made a turn. Every story on Rappler has a mood meter, which gives you 8 emotions to choose from. Click how you feel and your vote comes down to the mood navigator in the middle of the front page. That crowdsources the mood of the day. It also gives you the top 10 stories that have gotten the most number of votes. On their mood meter, these 10 stories have affected our readers and viewers the most in the last 24 hours. If we take a look, we have New Year's resolutions, This is the Pope Francis list. You have 9% happy, 90% inspired. President Aquino's reality check. Our Rappler's managing editor, Glenda Gloria, takes a look at what 2013 was like for President Aquino and his government and looks ahead to 2014. You have 44% amused and 16% annoyed. That purple bringing out the mood of the story that's gotten the most number of votes. A movie review of My Little Bossings in the MMFF, The Horrible Business of Show Business. 55% annoyed. That those purple votes bringing you to the mood of the day. Today, on the first day of the new year, most people are annoyed. That is Rappler's Newscast for today, Wednesday, January 1, 2014. Visit Rappler.com and watch our newscast Monday to Friday. Tell us how you feel on our mood meter and help us crowdsource the mood of the day. I'm Maria Ressa. As we say at Rappler, tomorrow begins today.